before I get started with this story, let me give a shout out to Dark Visitor for sending this in the Discord. And this story right here, just on the title alone, I can see why this guy right here got life in prison. So this man's name is Charlie Gary. He is 20 years old, like throwing his life away at 20. He got sentenced to life in prison because he strangled and violated the corpse of a 74-year-old man. Is some strange characters out in this world. Let me just go ahead and get into the story. An Iowa man strangled and violated the corpse of the man who helped him with odd jobs. That's even more messed up. This kind of reminds me right now of the story that I did a couple months ago about the guy, I forgot what state it was in, I believe it was on the East Coast, who was having trouble between jobs or trying to find a place to stay or whatever the case may be. And he ended up killing the two people that were helping him to try to find a place to live. A judge recently ordered that he spend the rest of his life behind bars. Judge Mark Fowler handed Charlie Gary, age 20, a life sentence without the possibility of parole for the strangulation death of Robert Long. Gary was found guilty and convicted by a jury of first-degree murder, first-degree burglary, first-degree robbery, and abuse of a corpse. On January 3rd, 2020, Gary approached Long at his home and requested if he wanted his driveway shoveled. When Long declined, the defendant pushed his way into the victim's home and strangled him. Next, Gary violated Long's corpse, stole his car, television, laptop, and cell phone. The victim's son, Nathan Long, found Long's body at the residence 4 days later. The family had been worried after his father had not returned phone calls, which was not in his character. Deputies arrested Gary while driving Long's car the day after the remains were found. Investigators discovered the stolen items from the victim's home and had already been pawned by the defendant. Gary took away our family, a person that cannot be replaced. I miss my dad. The loss I feel is only intensified by how he died. Christine Palmer, Long's daughter, said during a victim's impact statement, according to Quad City Times. During the 1-week trial, Gary's defense lawyer, Scott Kamen, argued his client was a prostitute who had engaged in a sexual act with the 74-year-old Long when he died. As a result, Gary took the items from the house as a form of payment. In addition, Kamen argued prosecutorial misconduct, asserting the state had used some pieces of evidence during the trial that was irrelevant to the case. Hence, he filed a motion for a new trial, and the request was denied. That just sounds like something that was pulled out of his ass. I don't even believe that. And there's some things that I would question, but this one right here, I highly doubt. In a rebuttal, Assistant County Attorney Amy Devine claimed all the evidence submitted to the court was utilized to establish the timeline of events on the day of the homicide. Fowler emphasized how important it was for the court to acknowledge the horrific nature of the crime committed. Gary was sentenced to 25 years for each burglary and robbery charge, and he received 5 years for the abuse of a corpse. In addition, the defendant was ordered to pay $150,000 in restitution to the victim's estate. Yeah, that claim that his attorney came up with to try to get him off, yeah, that didn't sound believable to me at all. That's crazy though. Like, all because the guy declined to have you shovel his driveway, you want to run into his house and then kill him. I don't know what it is in the mindset of a lot of people out here where they feel this sense of entitlement. If the person said they don't need your help or they're declining, then it should have been nothing for him to say, okay, fine, let me go to the next house, because maybe someone else needs help and they'll say yes. My thing is, what was so special about wanting to come to this residence and you got that upset to go in and run and kill this man? And by the way, the person that he did kill was a PC man. So that right there, automatically, and in Iowa of all places, Iowa has a very small black population. So that should tell you everything you need to know right there. But yeah, this guy, he's dumb. He is stupid. And now he's going to have to spend the rest of his life behind bars, only 20 years old, which means he was born in 2001. If his birthday is not coming up, if he doesn't have a late birthday, threw his whole life away over something that could have easily been avoided. I wonder if he looks back on this now and realizes what the dumbassery in which he did. in which he committed. He probably doesn't even realize it, but he'll realize it when them cell doors close, even though that's probably where he's been all this time. So they're just sending him right back to where he was at. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments.